Crystal, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Can you tell me a little bit about Ava?
Okay, so Ava is 9 years old. She has the GABA-A gene mutation. She also has other medical complexities that go along with that. It kind of all falls under that umbrella, but we deal with autism, epilepsy, developmental delays, asthma, some areas of the body where, organs are not working like they should. Muscle, not impairment, but just kind of like muscle weakness. We have issues with oral health. We have issues with, mental health, behavioral, kind of across the board. Bit of a struggle, but she's doing really, really good.
Tell me about Ava outside of her diagnosis.
Outside of diagnosis, Ava is headstrong, very fun-spirited. She's usually pretty happy kid. She's a mama hen. She likes to take care of other kids and kind of nurture and be there for other kids. She has 2 siblings, one younger and one older, so she gets to be big sister and also has a big sister to look up to. So she's pretty active, happy.
When was the first time you noticed something might be a little different?
So that one's a bit of a struggle because it was about 12 months old that she had her first clonic-tonic seizure. And obviously I knew experiencing a seizure, seeing that like this was bad, we had to go to the hospital. But before that, she had had spells that I knew were wrong, but I wasn't confident in what they were. And I had taken videos and showed doctors, and it kind of was brushed off. But once we established that she was having seizures, they went back and was like, these were all spells as well. So I think around the 6 to 8 month range is when the seizures kind of started. It wasn't until 18 months that we got the official epilepsy diagnosis. And up until then, we weren't hitting milestones. We weren't sitting up. We weren't walking, wasn't eating correctly, just kind of all stuff that they were chalking up to, well, she'll get there.
When did the GABA-A diagnosis start to come around?
So we actually did not get that one until 2020. So Ava was born in 2016. So it took about 4 years of us trial and error seizure medications. And of course, in the most respectful way possible, doctors really want it to be the easiest solution. So if at first, like our very first hospital stay, they didn't even think it was a seizure. Luckily, she had another, not luckily, but thankfully she had another one right in front of them for them to see it. And they were like, okay, yeah, this is a seizure. But then it turned into, well, sometimes infants have seizures and sometimes fevers cause seizures. And, well, sometimes they have seizures and they go away. So it was all just very, I don't know, not very taken seriously. And so after 4 years of no medications working, or they would work for a month or two and then they would stop, endless hospital stays. I mean, we counted upwards of 40 in Ava's lifespan of hospital stays directly to seizures. Times where she was coding, she was going blue in the face, she was not breathing, heart was slowing down, not being responsive, like very, very life or death situations. And finally I was like, we need answers. So our neurologist in 2020 did the genetic testing, and that's when we found the GABA-A mutation. And our doctor very politely was like, I don't know what to do with it. I know you've waited so long for these answers, but it's so rare, we don't have anything further for you. And that's where we found Monica in the Facebook group in the CURE GABA A and kind of got involved with the community there and excelled our progress from there.
When you got that GABA-A diagnosis, was there any sort of peace in at least knowing what it was, or was it just more answers or more questions?
So that's a good question. A good question, but a loaded question, because in a sense, as parents, all you want is answers. You want to know, why are they seizing? Why is medicine not controlling it? Why are they having all these other health problems? You want to know why. But I think we expect to be given a why that has immediate resolution. We expect like, hey, here's a problem, this is your solution. But what happened was they gave us an answer, but it was an answer that's so rare and has such limited research, such limited resources, that it was almost like, is it better? No, it felt like that at first. It really did. But then as time progressed and the more we learned about GABA-A and all the GABA A variants, the more we learned like why she is the way she is And then getting us connected with the clinical trial that Ava's in currently has brought us to where she went 278 days without a seizure.
Wow.
So I would say, yes, it was better to know because it got us here. But in the moment, it didn't feel much different because it's so rare.
If there's a mother out there right now and their daughter just received this diagnosis, what would you say to them?
Community. I would immediately say community. I would want them to get connected, find other mothers that know how they feel, because we have relatives, we have friends, we have family, we have tons of people in our life that love us and love Ava. But it is really one of those situations, and everyone's situation, everyone's heart is different. Everyone has the same area, but it's, you don't know what it's like until you walk it. You don't know what this life is like until you live it. So the most relatable and helpful connections are the parents that have children with the same genetic mutation. Like, this is, your community is the best thing that you can do, you know, outside of, obviously treatment and everything, but the community is the best part because we focus so much on the children, which we should, but we also forget that this is a huge area. You have siblings that, you know, need help dealing with their sibling. You have parents that need help being the caregivers. You have family members that need help learning how to help. So you need to build the community so you can help, you know, the village that you have at home. So I think that would be the first thing I would tell them.
What is that? Can you describe the feeling that you had the first time that you, whether it was online or in person, you met somebody going through the same thing you're going through?
So the very first time that I truly met someone that, because we had epilepsy communities, but everything was so different because Ava wasn't like a typical epileptic. So when I had that first initial conversation with Monica and Augustina, it was just like a weight off of my chest because I wasn't fighting for someone to understand me. Because it almost feels like screaming underwater, like you're trying to get them to listen. And so when I spoke to them, they already knew everything that I was feeling because they were already living it. And I didn't have to defend the way we were feeling. I didn't have to explain the way we were feeling. I just got to say, oh, well, this is what life's like. And that was the conversation. They're like, yeah, us too. We understand. And it was amazing. That was probably the best part.
That's incredible. Crystal, I really appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for all you're doing and taking the time to hear our stories and progressing, moving forward for kids like Ava.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you.